Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What is going on, Birdland? Stephen Heckman here for the Final Strike, brought to you by the Baltimore Battery, coming to you with another episode. Here to take things on the road as the Baltimore Orioles are out west, as they're currently facing the Los Angeles Angels, going 3-3 on the first part of their 9-game road swing. Took one of the 3 games against the Seattle Mariners and took 2 of 3 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. One of the big things that has come out of the series so far has been Kyle Bradish looking just like the Kyle Bradish of old. I mean, Kyle Bradish is really, really tearing things up. His last 2 games alone, he's covered 15 2/3 innings. He's allowed a total of 11 hits, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts to 21, or 3 base on balls to 21 strikeouts. And ideally, this is what we were waiting for. The Tommy John surgery, if this isn't an ideal position for him to be back from at the right time, then I don't know what we're asking for, because this is perfect. This is what we need from Kyle Bradish going forward. And the fact that, you know, Shane Baz has been pitching as good as he has. You have Brandon Young, who has been an aberration this year alone, is just night and day from his rookie season. Trey Gibson has been doing well, and it looks like Trevor Rogers is starting to get back on track as well. So we getting the starting pitching back to where we need it to be is definitely a good thing. It's our bullpen that we have to actually wake up and pay attention to, because the bullpen seems to be the worrisome part of the field at the moment. And right now it looks like you're playing a gauntlet. I mean, Ryan Helsley's been up and down in his time out there. Gano kind of has been up and down, but for the most part, been consistent most of the year. Garcia, he's been pretty consistent for the most part. He's had a few hiccups here and there. And, outside of that, I don't know where you go. It's Wolfram's not been consistent. Kittredge hasn't been consistent. Aiken hasn't been consistent. You're really playing with fire right now. And, if you have to look at the way things are going, one of the places to look down is on the farm right now, where you have Kate Povich and Dean Kremer both starting rehab assignments. The sooner we can get them in shape, the more possibility it's that they I definitely wouldn't. Trey Gibson, I don't know. He's overall, he's pitched pretty well. I mean, for a rookie, I think he's done tremendous. I think, he's made great strides, had some good progress along the way. You could possibly move him to the bullpen, but I don't know. I think keeping him in the rotation might be better suited for him. Povich would be great as the lefty out of the bullpen right now. That way you don't mess with any of the dynamic of what's going on with the rotation. And then, you make a hard decision on what you do. Do you cut Wolfram? Do you cut Aiken? Aiken is nowhere close to what he was last year. At least with Wolfram, you've gotten a little bit, more consistency out of him than you have Aiken, although Aiken did do pretty well the other night for us. So you've got to fight fire with fire somehow. And, we're in the AL that we're in. You only have 3 or 4 teams over 500. You're not out of it. You still are in this postseason race, so you've got to be a part of it, and you've got to take on what is being shown to you. So you cannot walk a tightrope with the ability of saying we need a safety net below us. you've got to go from one side to the other side without worrying what is below you. You've got to be able to focus straight ahead, and that's it. And right now, that's where the Orioles' mindset needs to be. They've got to look at what's ahead of them and not behind them because, we need to get things right. Craig Alvarez, yes, first year as manager, but with all the gumption that came with him coming to Baltimore, this team needs to be in a better situation. This team needs to be further along than where they are. I mean, we're 4 games under 500 right now. And I mean, this road series easily coming into the Angels series, we should have been 5-1. Our bullpen cost us. 5 of the 6 games, our starters had quality starts. The one game they didn't, Young went 5 innings and still only gave up 3 runs. So another inning, he would have qualified for a quality start if he didn't give up any more runs. So, it's not the starting pitching, and that was what everybody was saying, that the starting pitching wouldn't be strong enough this year. Our starting pitching is more than held its fair share and held its own throughout the year and proven that it's capable of competing with anybody. The offense has come to life. Too much inconsistency, though, especially with runners in scoring position. And, it's interesting when you look at a few things. We're in the top 5 in the league in walks as a team, but we're also in the top 5 in the league in strikeouts as a team. So for all the good you're doing with the patience at the plate, you're also getting rid of it with not being patient at the plate. It's like we're counteractive from one to the other. And, I like that we are getting the walks, but you turn around if you're striking out, what good is a walk if you're leaving people stranded on base and you're hurting yourself? We got to take advantage of opportunities, and the Orioles have failed to do so throughout the season. And it's not just a one-year thing. This has been something that's been going on for at least the last 2 or 3 seasons. The Orioles with runners in scoring position just do not capitalize, and it's a constant problem. It's a constant headache. And, Craig Alvarez weeks ago had said that, bunting would be a bigger part of the team going forward. And I still have yet to see it. Leody Tavares, he has done it a couple times. I think Jackson Holliday's laid down maybe a bunt here or there, but outside of that, I really haven't seen anybody do any bunting outside of those 2 players, and Tavares is one of our best bunters. Holiday, with his speed, should be able to lay down a bunt here and there. Of course, I wouldn't expect Gunnar to, but it's everybody on the team should know how to bunt, because there comes a situation where, I'm sorry, regardless of who you are, sometimes a bunt is important. You know, uh, Gunnar Henderson, I mean, Gunnar had a great game yesterday. Kudos to him for having a great game, but those great games are few and far between. And a lot of people will overlook the fact that he's batting .229 and up near the team leaders in strikeouts. But when I look that Colton Cowser is batting .232, and Colton Cowser had a higher climb to come out of. I mean, there's a point Colton Cowser was batting in the low 180s to get to where he is, and he's still batting higher than Gunnar Henderson. Now, I know he hasn't played as many games, so of course he can jump a little bit more, but Colton Cowser he's turned his season around quite dramatically. He's got 8 home runs, 27 RBIs. He's batting .304 in his last 7 games. He's turned a lot around, and when you look at things, he's struck out 55 times in 69 games, and yet when you go and look at Gunnar Henderson, let's pull this up, if it'll cooperate with me. I swear it's like computers don't want to cooperate with me anymore. You got a Gunnar Henderson who is batting .250 over his last 7 games. Gunnar Henderson has struck out 87 times in 79 games. 10 more games, has struck out 32 more times in 10 more games. And that's scary. It's a little alarming. And when you think of it, he's only got, in those 10 games extra, those extra 10 games, he's got 8 more home runs. Which you would expect that from a guy who hit nearly 40 home runs a few years ago. You know, he's supposed to be healthier, and he's, I don't know, I think he's pushing and grinding at the plate. I'm a huge Gunnar Henderson fan. Definitely want to see Gunnar Henderson succeed. Definitely want to see him do better. But I mean, this is a guy who struck out 159, and 137 times in full seasons. And he is more than halfway there already through 79 games this year. So, you've got to take a look at the big picture of what is going on and see how to fix Gunnar Henderson, because this going up there and trying to swing for the fences every play is not going to cut it. He's supposed to be a leader. He's supposed to be one of our best hitters on the team. And when you pair him with Pete Alonso, it's supposed to be one of those 1-2 punches that, make things better for our offense. You're supposed to not want to have to walk one to get to the other, or you're supposed to use one to protect the other. And right now, Gunnar Henderson, I don't know, the chances you're taking striking him out seem better than it is to pitch around him, worry about facing Pete Alonso. And at this point, I'd actually probably put Pete Alonso ahead of Gunnar Henderson just to help Gunnar Henderson out. And I hate to say that because, Gunnar Henderson, he's kind of turned his season around. He's leads the team in RBIs. He's basically up there in the team lead with home runs. He's fighting back and forth with Gunnar Henderson. But, there's things you got to consider. You've got to look at the bigger picture here. And I think Albie needs to start making some tough calls here. Do you have to put Gunnar Henderson down for a game or two? And I don't mean put him down, but, bench him sit him down for a game or two. Those are things you've got to consider. If it's going to wake his bat up, you've got to. You can't afford the guy to strike out 2, 3, 4 times a game, 5 games a week, and then every 2 or 3 games, he'll get 1 or 2 hits, maybe 3 hits, just because he's going to hit a home run possibly every now and then. I love the fact that Gunnar Henderson has 16 home runs on the season, but he struck out 87 times at that. 79 games, he struck out 87 times. I mean, this is a guy who came up through the minor leagues who was walking as much as he was striking out, and those numbers are nowhere close in the majors. And I didn't expect him to sit there and stay that close in the majors, but I didn't expect him to be as drastic as they are either. The one good thing I can say about Adley Rutschman is at least his walk and strikeout numbers are still not too far apart from each other. Adley, when healthy, leads the team, usually is around the team leaders in walks. So, some interesting news to pay attention to. Blaze Alexander fouled a ball off his knee, had to leave the game last night, and because of that, Leody Tavares had to cover third base for 5 innings and filled in admirably. We had Kobe Mayo, of course, was DHing at the time, and one of the other reasons this had to happen was we elected to carry 3 catchers for the game instead of activating a player from the taxi squad who was an infielder. I don't ever understand carrying 3 catchers in a game right now. I really don't. There's no need for it. You have Baseo and Sam Huff. Why Adley's on the IL, I don't see the need to carry a 3rd catcher. I really don't, especially since, Baseo wasn't catching. or Sam Huff wasn't catching last night, you still had the other one on the bench. So sitting there and activating a third catcher just made no sense. Right now, it's time to step up. And Baseo is young enough that, catching numerous days in a row is, if he needs to do it, he's got to do it. One of the marquee things to have as a team right now is good, strong catching. And to have multiple catchers that are good and capable of hitting and defending is something big. And I'm a proponent of having, two good catchers, as with Wieters and James McCann, or not Wieters, with Rushman and James McCann a couple years ago. Two strong catchers is what's needed. And that's why I'd love to keep both Rushman and Baseo. You already have Baseo signed long term. Why not get Rushman signed to another few years? Keep him around. You can have the ability to piggyback both of them, and you have both of them good with the pitching staff, both of them good defensively, and both of them pretty decent offensively. So I'd go for it. So Orioles have 2 more games against the Angels starting tonight. And then they're off before they head home to face Washington and Chicago White Sox. And then after that, we have 9 games before the All-Star break. The season's going by quick. They 3 games against Cincinnati on the road, then home against the Cubs and the Royals before the All-Star break begins. So we are not that far from mid-season classic, and then it's winner take all from there. So we got to start looking at things. With the AL so wide open, I don't see any reason for us to sell off. I could honestly see us making a move to improve the team. We lost Eflin for the year. Bassett's down right now with an injury. I don't know when he'll be back. But you still have Kremer and Povich coming back. But we definitely need to do something to bolster the bullpen. That's a priority. I wouldn't touch starting rotation. I mean, like I said, you got Bassett, who's on IL right now, but you have Kremer and Povich, who are going to be coming around off the IL soon, or ready to come off the IL. You got Trey Gibson. You got Brandon Young, who's having a strong season. So, you have the depth there. And, of course, you signed Big Al to a major league contract once you brought him back. So, you have the depth there with him as well. So he can swing start. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out going forward, because, we're hovering around 500. We need to get over that hump. We need a long streak. We haven't won more than 3 games in a row all season. We need to get on one of those 6, 7, 8, 9-game winning streaks, a couple of those, and put ourselves in the driver's seat going forward, where we actually control our own destiny instead of trying to play catch up and looking for other teams to be a part of that. And, what happens over the next 2 weeks might determine that, so we'll see. It's a winner take all contest going forward. And that's basically the mindset we have to be in. We have to be in winner take all. It's no time to die. So the starting pitching's been stepping up. The offense seems to be getting there, but it's still inconsistent at times. Still need better production with runners in scoring position. Opportunities of with players on base. So we'll see if we can get that going. But biggest thing is we need to focus on the bullpen. We need to get the bullpen working and going forward. So we'll see how the rest of this series pans out, and we'll see what happens when we get back home. We'll see you next episode. So until then, Birdland, please make sure keep the beer cold. And I want to give a big shout out to BaltimoreBattery.com. Without them, we wouldn't be here. But don't forget to head over to the BaltimoreBattery.com and check out all the recent releases, new articles that are out from your favorite writers. Let us know what you're thinking there. Don't forget to give us a follow also over on X, formerly of Twitter, and on TikTok at the Be More Battery. Don't forget to give myself a follow over on X and TikTok at SRJ Heckman, and the Final Strike at _. You can also find me on YouTube and the Final Strike on YouTube at SRJ Heckman as well. And another big shout out to our sponsor, Advanced Mobility Solutions, formerly Scooters for Rent. If you're ever in the Eastern Shore area looking for mobility products, from mobility scooters, wheelchairs, from beach wheelchairs, manual wheelchairs, or electric wheelchairs, or lift recliners, don't forget to give Advanced Mobility Solution a call at 302-280-6203. Tell them Stephen from the Final Strike sent you. Till next time, Birdland, please keep the beer cold, peace out, and keep cheering on the O's. We'll see you next time.